I'm Sydney. And I'm Talia. Pull up a chair. You're listening to The Desk.
Hi guys, it's The Desk. Welcome back. It's Sydney.
It's Talia.
And today has been a shaky. It's been a shaky start to this episode, I can't lie to you. Today we have been fighting with Riverside, we fought with the video, we fought with the fan, we fought with the microphone, we fought with the sound. Like everything wants this episode to fail.
But we shall prosper.
But no weapon formed against us shall prosper, thank you. Today we're here with my gorgeous cousin, Nikki. And she is the most fabulous doula ever, genuinely, ever. Because she just does this. Like, when I tell you she does this, guys, she does this. You're going to hear more about it in a second. But from a biased little cousin opinion, she's on my team when I have those kids, trust. For context, Nikki sorted the birth of all three of her kids. She is a mother, okay? Mother. When we say mother, we're not just saying that. She's mother, okay? And she's the chillest person I know. It's actually kind of crazy. Our family says that we are all on a very monotone level, all of us who are named after our grandmother, Julia. But she's different, okay? She's just a step above. So, all that being said, hi, Nikki.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We are excited, as you can tell. Like we're ready. We're ready.
I love this show.
Thanks. Low key, we were saying before we started actually recording that this is Talia's episode. Talia wants to be a midwife. Talia has been all up in this for years, and so she's very well versed in all things birth and all the stuff. I am just a humble bystander, proud friend, proud cousin on the side, proud auntie. Like, yes.
Wait, guys. Take into consideration, I've literally put this down for a total of 3 years, so I might be incorrect. I might be outdated. I'm just here to learn. Yeah.
So she says.
I have no experience with anything, so if I was, neurodivergent, this would be my this will be my thing.
I'm kidding. So, Nicole, give us a bit of a background as to how you got into doula to this point.
Okay, so I don't know. I feel like it started when I was a kid because my mom says I was obsessed with like birth and all those those medical birth shows. I don't remember. There was one I used to watch. But yeah, I used to be obsessed with it. I used to make my sister like lie down, pretend she's like in labor and like just role play the whole thing. Yeah, so fast forward to uni. So I was like, 19, 18? And one day I just saw this video of this lady giving birth by a stream. And I was like, that looks very cool. How can I find out more about that? So I just ended up on a deep dive. And yeah, I was on birth control at the time. And yeah, really bad. I was having panic attacks. I gained 20 kilos in like a year. Yeah, so it just wrecked my body. And then just after researching and finding out that like birth control is not like safe. Because I remember the day I got the birth control and there was this poster at the doctor's office and it was like, birth control is safe. Like I can see it in my head today. So it like wrecked my body and I found out about how it messes up with your hormones and all of that. I got off it and I was just like, yeah, I need to find something different. And yeah, I just go down the rabbit hole. I think like once you find out, you just end up just being like, yeah, everything's trying to kill us.
No, literally.
Yeah. So I was dating my He was my boyfriend then, but he's my husband now.
Hi, Kosh.
Yeah. And I would just listen to podcasts. Like I think I listened to at least 2 birth podcasts a day for 4 years. And then in uni, I did all of my research on how maternal outcomes and how birth affects like a woman's health and mental health after she gives birth. And what I noticed is, so most women who have home births, they either had a really traumatic first birth in the hospital and they were like there has to be something better, and they eventually found themselves in the home birth route, found midwives, or either gave birth unassisted. And I was just like, yeah, let me learn from them. Let me not try with my first, because I feel like most people feel like, okay, it's my first baby. Let me just go to the hospital just in case, So I was like, okay, if all these women keep saying they had a really horrible first birth in the hospital setting or like a very medicalized birth,
Yeah.
I was like, let me just do what they enjoyed and skip the trauma. And yeah, so when I got pregnant, I did my doula training as I was pregnant, kind of like my birth education. And I didn't plan on doing it as a business, honestly. I just wanted to do it so I can help like CJ, my sisters, just for the women in my life. And now here I am 5 years later and really enjoying it. Yeah.
Yay.
I love that for you. I would say that my initial interest was something similar to yours.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I knew I always wanted to be in the medical field. So I was flipping through different types of doctors, and I
Mm-hmm.
had settled on being an OBGYN. And I I said, I'm not going to be in school for 10 years, so let's
Yeah.
scrap that. Now, yeah, I was like, that's too much. I'm not doing that. So then I said, I still want to help women. And around that time, then I decided on wanting to become a midwife and a doula, because I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
both a doula and a midwife. I saw the news, the American news saying that Black women were more likely to die in childbirth
Mm-hmm.
in the hospitals. And I became so irate. I was like, what? Okay. See, if they had me, I remember that this is my exact thoughts. I was like, if they had me, they would not. They wouldn't have died. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a midwife and I wanted to be a traditional one at that. I did want to have the training of, those who actually go into the hospitals and stuff, but I wanted to do it in the traditional sense. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was on my way to become an RN and a midwife. And then I had, thank, then the pandemic hit and I got really stressed. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put it on pause. I didn't say I was going to give up, but I said, I'm going to put it on pause. And now we're
Mm-hmm.
here. And for the past 3 years, I said, why would I put it on pause and do this damn degree? But I love this degree. And again, I tell all my friends that are women or
Yeah.
female, hey, when you have a kid,
Call me.
call me.
You still the voice too.
And I tell my guy friends, I say, hey, when you impregnate a woman,
Call me.
call me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am excited that you are here and I'm excited that you are of our age because all the women that I've spoken to are way older. And yes, they have wisdom and experience, but it's also nice to hear from someone who's closer to me in age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am excited.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think, even me, I wanted to be, I wish I knew about midwifery actually in uni. Because now I'm just like, do I really want to do 4 years? But I still might.
Do
So
it.
yeah, I get you.
Do it. We could make a business and you can have a branch in
Mm-hmm.
Kenya and I can have a branch in London.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
That would be a perfect, actually.
I'll market it.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I have a lot of questions. We're just looking at it now. But obviously you you've done all your births at home, and obviously they've all gone fabulously. What is the experience like in terms of actually living it compared to teaching it or being someone guiding someone through it?
Oh, I would say I'm obsessed with giving birth. I love it. And that's not to say it's easy, because I feel like when I say that, people think it's just like, oh, you love it because it's easy. But I think it's the same as like climbing a mountain or running a marathon. You like it's enjoyable, but like not easy. You get what I mean? And yeah, I think it's just so expansive. It's psychedelic. It's challenging. Like, yeah, it's like my last birth, my third baby, Kaya. That was my hardest labor. Like it was so bloody hard and painful, but even then I would still give birth like 5 more times now. And I forgot your question, sorry.
Okay. You're okay. In terms of being in it, like obviously, like you said, between Nons, then Toria, now Kaya. Like you said, Kaya was the hardest. How has that experience being in it changed how, one, you kind of guide others, but also what is the difference between kind of applying what you know to yourself and applying it to others, like the theory
Oh,
versus the practical?
yeah. Okay, so I think just having done it like by myself, I feel like it's just, yeah, like there's no other better proof of concept than someone who's given birth 3 times by themselves, you know? Like
Right.
I stand 10 toes down on I trust birth, you know? And that's not to say that I stay in the house if there was an emergency or I'm unaware of what to look out for. So, yeah, I think for me, it's just like I can see when I'm supporting women in labor, I can see that point they get to where they get really overwhelmed. And it's nice to know, like, I've been there, so I know how to get them past that point of. It's kind of like when you're running and you get to this point where it's just like, yeah, I think I'm going to die now. But then past that, you're good, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just very easy for me to guide women through that point without like panicking. So what I hear a lot is like whenever they're getting to transition, women are like, okay, you, and you're just smiling at me. So I knew like, okay, I must be okay, you know? So yeah, so it's just being that kind of tether for women, just to know that, yeah, it's hard as fuck, but you got it, you know, and I'm here for you. And if you need to scream, you need to cuss me out, you need to squeeze my hand, whatever, you know, like I've done all of it. I've wiped poop. I've caught babies by accident, you know. So yeah, I just think it's really easy for me to trust women and for women to trust themselves because they see I trust them.
What does being a doula actually entail? I feel like that's also a really good starting point.
Yeah. Okay. So what does it entail? So it depends. So sometimes women might just want me at their birth and then that's it. Other times, most times they want birth classes and then me at their births. But I'd say it entails getting up at very random hours. So if you like getting up at like midnight, 10 o'clock, getting home at like 7 a.m., it's, yeah, perfect. If you like driving, it involves a lot of driving. Yeah, just holding space, honestly. I used to think I needed to have like all these things, you know, I needed a peanut ball, I needed so many things. But what I've realized is I just, yeah, need to stay present. What I use most is my hands, honestly, and be encouraging. Yeah, but it's very hectic hours, which I think is great if you're getting to it and you don't have kids. That way you're not missing like, you know, graduations, pickups, school drop-offs. You know, you're not having to navigate sick kids and then also getting up at like, you know, 3 a.m. in the morning to go. Yeah, sit in the hospital, sit at home. Yeah.
So
It's
you
long.
you personally go into the hospital as well and act as an advocate for the women?
Yes, but in Kenya, for the
Mm-hmm.
last few years, doulas were banned from hospitals. So it's just until I think last year or 2024 where they started letting us back in. So I've been primarily in the home birth space, which is where I'm most comfortable. But yeah, I'll go where women call me, honestly. I used to be very, die hard. The hospital's horrible for you, stay away. But yeah, I've come to understand that, everyone has their own preferences, their own, where you're
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. So maybe I'm comfortable at home, but you don't feel safe. So if I tell you to stay at home, your labor is not going to go well. Well, yeah, so it's just been putting down my ego and just showing up for women how they want me to show up.
I think talking about that ban that doulas had in Kenya is something that's kind of interesting because obviously we're in London. That's not a conversation that even comes up.
Mm.
Our, I think, general news life or newscape. What do you think that ban did for, I think, just mothers in general? Because having a doula and having a support system in any way is so important to, I mean, life, let alone birth.
Yeah.
So, in terms of that, how do you think that ban shaped even how women are looking into doing births now?
I think a lot of women, honestly, I think they'd rather give birth at home or at a birth center, but obviously we don't have any birth centers as of yet.
Yeah.
And giving birth at home with a midwife is not covered by insurance, so that means you're like putting up a lot of money up front out of your pocket. So it's really what I see is it's a battle between what you want versus what insurance will pay for. But I think now hospitals have come to realize like if they don't allow doulas, their clients are going somewhere else. So they've just had to open it up, although it's a bit like there's a lot of ego. I think that's the best way. Like I get a lot of shady comments from OBs, from nurses. I get, kicked out of rooms when they're doing procedures. So it's still not collaborative, but yeah, at least I guess baby steps.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
right. So then from that maybe African scope and then going out into the world, are there any kind of healthcare systems or places that are doing support in women's birth rights that you've looked at?
Ooh. I think New Zealand does it really well. Although I'm sure you find some women there who are still like the hospital system's still quite not great. But at least there's like these systems in place where if you want to give birth at home, there's a midwife there, like it's standard. And if you want to in the hospital, it's also not very intervention heavy. And then I'd say maybe Netherlands. The UK does okay, although I'd say I've worked with a few women there and they still don't they still don't rate it that highly. So I still know a lot of women who are trying to birth outside the system, but comparing it to here and I guess other African countries, it's much better. But I'd say New Zealand, Finland, and the Netherlands is where I'd say is pretty a nice, very integrated system.
So talking about integration, if we go back, like back years prior, because again, I really had interest in traditional midwifery or just midwifery before they brought women, technically brought women into the hospital saying you have to give birth here. It was more common to have a midwife or doula or just a woman who knows and has a lot of wisdom in childbirth and helping women and stuff. How do you feel about the shift from going from these women who have experience in childbirth that's not necessarily from a medical standpoint, but a traditional standpoint, to people being told that this is the only way to have your child is in a hospital room with all the white light and all the beeping.
Oh, I think it's so layered because here right now, up until 2019, actually, over half the women are giving birth out of hospital. So let's say like in Shags, the villages, most women who are giving birth, they're using birth attendants. And what I saw in like research is the government and researchers are trying to remove the traditional midwife from birth. So what they do now is like they'd pay a midwife, traditional midwife, like let's say they'd say if a woman comes to you, I'll pay you 500 bob to send them to the hospital. And I guess so they did that for a while, but then now women who went to the hospital, what they realized is like your services are quite trash, like and most times the hospitals like in villages are quite far from women's homes. So by the time you're walking to the hospital, some of them have given birth already.
No.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, and also like cultural beliefs. So let's say like luyas. Luyas have very strong cultural practices when it comes to birth, and hospitals don't respect that. So they're like, yeah, you don't respect what I believe, you don't provide me good quality care, and you're far away. So I don't see any like upsides to come. So what most women are just going back to traditional midwives. So I think now the government is now trying to see, like their plan failed. So they're trying to see like what else they can do to make birth more medicalized. So now they're trying to see if they can train the traditional midwives to be more medical. But I don't think it'll work because, yeah, it feels like rape. Giving birth in the hospital, it feels and looks a lot like being sexually assaulted, right? Like even when you talk to dads who've, like I talk to quite a bit of most of my clients are back moms, right? So I talk to the dads a lot, and what they say is like after is seeing their wife give birth in the hospital and the home. It's so different. So even then, they have to navigate like the birth trauma of watching your wife get like fingered a bunch of times by random strangers, screaming. Like it's just horrible. And then you expect the same thing in the house, and what they say is like, "Oh my God, like there was no screaming. It was so calm. They were in shock. I've had like dads like literally break into tears because they're just like, I didn't know it could be like that. Yeah, so it's very layered, but I don't think it'll work because it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It's unnatural. And yeah, I just think we need to find a way to like accept that not all births need to be medicalized, and leaving the hospital for emergencies.
And what does advocating for that look like for you now? Like, obviously, if you have Ruby Mamas, you have a podcast where you're having these conversations. What else does that look like? Or is that the main kind of avenue for you?
So I feel like I got to a point where I felt like being a doula capped me at some level. Because if I take you to the hospital and I tell you, or if a mom's like, I don't want, let's say, Pitocin, I don't want vaginal exams, and then we get to the hospital, the doctor will kick me out of the room when they're coming to do that. Then when I walk back in, she's been given Pitocin, she's given the vaginal exam, her waters have been broken, and she's just very demoralized. So I find this quite. So what I do now is kind of teach the dads how to stand up for their wives, because men still trump women in our society. So when a man says something, they're less likely to push back. So yeah,
I
so
love
now
that.
it's just finding how to show up in a way that's effective and has like tangible results. Yeah, it's quite hard. It's not easy.
Well, we love you for what you do, and you do it well. And
Thank
I can only
you.
imagine. I mean, I always see that the women that you work with have glowing reviews. And
Mm.
again, see, I'm not just being a biased cousin. Okay. Everybody, he says, you know what you're doing. And I think it comes through even in the way that you speak about it. So I can't imagine that you're doing anything poorly.
Yeah, I'm great at my job.
Clock it. Tell them. Tell them.
Hmm.
Hire her. Review mamas on Instagram. Lock in. That
uh,
being said, back to the kind of the birth part of this.
hmm
What's how important is the care not only during birth but postpartum? Because you are also a postpartum doula. What are the kind of big things that you look for throughout the entire process that makes postpartum a bit easier or leads to your postpartum kind of plan for each woman?
Okay. I'd say postpartum is quite different, like in an African setup, or let me say Kenyan. Let me not give. Yeah, okay. Say Kenyan and Nigeria because I've lived both places, so I kind of know. But
Right. It
in
was like, girl.
so in Kenya, I'd say it's quite easy to get, help after you give birth. So, you have access to nannies and, you know, our culture still values taking care of women and babies after they give birth. So it's like, it's a no-brainer, like after you give birth that, like, the women in your life will come take care of you. Like for me, my mother-in-law came and stayed with me for, I think, 5 months. So she came before I gave birth, stayed for another almost 3 months after I gave birth. And it was fabulous, like, and my first one, I gave birth to my first during COVID. So it was just me and my husband and it was hectic with a capital H. So I think that isolation's like, yeah, it's traumatic and no woman should have to go through recovery and learning how to be a mom alone. So I'd say for a Kenyan woman, what I focus on more is managing their expectations. Because now, you're probably working, you have to navigate getting to know your baby in like 3 months and then going back to work. And, now we have this society where women are supposed to work, right? You and your husband are both working, but then after you give birth, it's not like you and your husband are both recovering. So it's not 50-50. So you're kind of expecting your partner, you expect your partner to be there like half the time. Maybe you want to do half the feeds or they come stay up at night with you, but it's not realistic. So what I do is I make it obvious that you are the one going to be doing 90% of the work after the baby comes. I'm showing dads how to take care of their wives. I am preparing couples how to maintain that intimacy and kind of like mitigate that resentment that comes when, you've been up 4 times and your husband is there just knocked out and you're like, I could actually beat you with this baby. So just trying to find how we can find that like sweet spot of you getting taken care of, but also understanding that you're the primary caregiver and no one else can take that over. Because even if you say maybe I want to pump, right? You still have to wake up at night to pump because that's when most of your breast milk is produced like properly. So it's kind of like giving yourself double work. So it's just trying to see how, yeah, I can make this easier for you. Where was I?
About how men should help their women more, the women that carry their child, the child that
Yeah.
holds the majority of their DNA. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to tell women, think of yourself as the newborn. So the way you want to baby your newborn, someone should be doing that for you.
And that's what I've been saying. I said that. I said women when a baby is born, when a child is born, the woman is the one who takes care of the baby. But the man is the one that takes care of the woman. Even if taking care of for a man, what it should look like. Even if he says to her, babe, give me the child, let me take care of the child so you can either go get your shower, go rest, go hang out with the girls. Or he should be the one who calls her friends and say, hey, can you take her outside? She's been home for too long. He is responsible for her and her well-being so that she can better take care of the child.
Yep, exactly. And especially those first few months. So for me, I just make sure as long as your first 40 days are solid, and then after that, you can now just tweak it to whatever your situation needs. Because, you know, some women don't need to go back to work. Some women need to go back in 3 months. And then, of course, now with hospital births, there comes like navigating birth trauma. So there's also that. And just identifying postpartum depression, anxiety, how to like see the signs and also try and like avoid it.
And how do you kind of go about dealing with birth trauma for either clients that you have that have had previous births in the hospital and now are going to home births, or are going through the hospitalized route for whatever circumstance and have also enlisted you on their team?
And I'd like to add, for those who did home births, but it was a difficult home birth.
Oh, have I don't know if I've worked with anyone who's had like a traumatic home birth.
That's great. We love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is great. Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to speak on that. But I think for birth trauma, what I've gotten is mostly women who, like, I've not worked with them. Like, I get so many calls. Like, the number of times women will call my phone and just end up, like, in tears. It's crazy. So yeah, I think that's where now the birth trauma work comes in. So not really with clients actively, because by the time a woman comes to me, they've probably educated themselves and they know what they want. So even if you're giving birth in the hospital, we set up your expectations for what to expect in the hospital. So let's say you don't want vaginal exams and the hospital needs to do the vaginal exams to be able to admit you. Yeah, so you just find a way to work around it, or just like I set you up for what to expect there. At home, I haven't had any traumatic home births, thankfully, yet.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, so even even women who transfer. So even then, like, we'll discuss that during the birth classes. So nothing is really catching you by surprise. Yeah, so unless, for home birth route, I don't really have too much experience with birth trauma. So what I would say is just women who've not had any like forewarning, or they go to the hospital like, let me just listen to my doctor and see what go on. Yeah, so that's when now you see a lot of birth trauma. So so I think birth classes is really helpful in reducing that. So whether you're giving birth in the hospital or at home, you just need to know what's happening in your body, what is normal, what is right, and what your rights are.
And I mean, this is kind of a nuanced question, but I guess the biggest thing I'm hearing out of all of this is communication. And it's like making sure that not only people are taking in good communication, but it's also being given out. And so for us right now in a Western context, where, like Talia was saying, we grew up in a very Western area where the conversation around Black birth specifically, or women of color giving birth, is now being categorized with discrimination and prejudice and all kinds of other kind of convoluted subjects. Whereas in Kenya, where we are the majority, regardless, that might not be a nuance that you experience. How is the communication lacking, or I guess where could it be better? Like, is that conversation around birth and women's health and women's anatomy really having, or is it being had, basically? Are those conversations being had?
Okay, so I think like I'd say for Kenya is, so our version of the Black maternal discrimination and the bad outcomes would be now on a class-based perspective. So the less money you have, the worse treatment you get, you know?
Right. So, wow.
Yeah. So now let's say especially if you're young, you're on a low income level, you're getting pretty horrible treatment. Like some women are sharing like a bed with 3 women after they give birth. So what I see is basically private hospitals, you're basically just paying for respectful care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's quite horrible when I think about it, because
It's
yeah,
frustrating.
it is, yeah, because I don't think like your income level should now like be a basis on how well you're treated. But then again, in these private hospitals, if you go there and start questioning them, like they'll start treating you some type of way. Either they'll
Right.
stop coming to attend to you, or they'll start like making funny comments. So there's still that like barrier of like your doctor is better than you, basically, or higher than you. Like, why are you questioning your doctor?
Right.
Yeah, so I think now that's where now the hospital and women who are giving birth are clashing, because it's like women are now coming and saying, okay, why are you doing that to me? Like you find like some hospitals, like they'll give a woman an episiotomy and the woman won't find out until like they're talking to me. So it's
Can you
just like,
just explain what that is for those who are listening?
okay, so an episiotomy is basically when a doctor or midwife will cut your perineum to make space for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'd find like a doctor will just go and just snip it. Yeah. And it's crazy. So and even like drugs. So for me, it's like, even as little as what drugs you're putting in my IV bag, like I need to know.
Yeah.
And doctors here are not used to that. So it's like kind of like when you start asking them, they're like, whoa.
Who are you?
Exactly. So
And that
yeah, so it's
causes
like
out there.
now the hospitals that are more, I'd say, accommodating, quote unquote, because the woman is the consumer, the client. So you're paying for a service, so they shouldn't be feeling like having this air about it. So yeah, so I think it's just now that clash, and the hospitals that are getting accommodating are the ones where most women are going. So I think eventually they'll just have to give in, because the customer is always right.
Especially in this context, right?
Exactly.
Because if a woman doesn't trust her doctor or she has fear within the setting that she's in for birth, it becomes so much more harder for her. Her muscles get tense, and that's not what you want. You want her to be relaxed enough for the baby to do what they have to do and descend and come out
But
and be born.
they don't want that. Like, first of all, private hospitals here are very obviously profit driven. So that means they want
They want
C-section,
C-sections.
C-sections, epidurals, pitocin. Like
No.
I found out a few years ago, they charge 5,000 shillings for a cervical exam. So if they do
Get
like 10,
real.
yeah,
5,000?
5,000. So that's what, like 40 pounds maybe?
Yeah, roughly.
I'm like,
That's
how are you gonna charge me to put your dirty fingers inside my vagina?
like what?
Yeah, so it's a bit mad. But the good thing is women are realizing like it's your body.
And that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I'd say it's quite tricky everywhere. Like everyone has their own like version of really messed up medical care. And it all just comes down to colonization. Because when you think about it, like there's midwives in Uganda who were doing C-sections before doctors in the West were doing C-sections. And because, a white person did it, now all of a sudden we're saying it's a revolutionary practice and this traditional midwife is backwards.
Yeah, there's a lot I could say. There's a lot I can say.
There's
Being
a lot I
honest.
could say too.
Because honestly, that's where the study of OBGYN, of obstetric gynecology came from, with white
Mm-hmm.
people experimenting on slaves. Yeah.
Right? And
Black people who
enslaved
were
girls.
enslaved. Yeah. Yeah. So that's also another reason why I want to be a midwife.
Yep. Like I tell women, like there's this midwife in our shags who has this like concoction of herbs. And when she gives them to you, she's like, make sure you're near where you want to give birth. Because in 30 minutes after you take this baby's coming out.
Mm. I
So
need
they have,
that.
I know, and they have so much wisdom, but because it's not like, a white daddy hasn't told us to do it, we're looking down on it,
With emphasis on white daddy, not white mother. Daddy.
Yeah,
The one who's
exactly.
not even doing the one who's not even doing the work. Like what?
Oh, yeah. So I have very many opinions on it, but I've gotten to a place where I'm good at holding it.
No. Honestly, we
Listen,
half this podcast we've been joking and we're like, out of the two of us, I'm the more PR trained.
listen. I don't get where she gets this from.
He says it.
I'm so so PR trained, guys.
This podcast is brought to you by Kelomolo, where culture and class meet couture.
But then we talk about colonization, even this conversation, Kenya, for being colonization in Kenya are always the ones that I'm just like, please don't even get me.
I don't listen. In a perfect world, there would be
Yeah,
segregation.
I know. I feel like Kenya's been the
And
most effectively
it would
colonized.
not be the type of segregation that we've previously
I
faced.
I
It
don't
would be a
even,
different type.
I just don't even. Kenya needs colonization.
Yeah,
I could write essays on the
yeah, it's good.
nonsense that is Kenyan colonization. Like you don't just even that like stupid African Foreign Summit. I
Yeah.
don't understand how I'm finding it.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Oh my gosh, this is about you. I'm so happy you're here. Because what I would like to know, it's been grinding my gears, is,
Mhm.
but how do you help women? Is there like a certain trick that you use to help women get into the right mindset? Because earlier you spoke about them transcending, which I'm like, I've heard about it, I can imagine it, so I can empathize and sympathize with these women because, child free. So I can only imagine. But how do you, as someone who's gone through it yourself
Mhm.
and someone who actively helps women, how do you get these women into the right headspace for this?
Mm. I think the brain does it like once you just release the control, your brain starts to do it in pregnancy. So what I do is I teach how your brain waves are changing because your brain is what affects a woman's experience of labor. So for me, I'm showing you what happens in your brain in labor and how you can get or create your environment to keep your brain to progress to the point it needs to be to give birth, right? So it's like, so when your brain waves are slowing down, there's certain things that women should be doing. And now this is where like the dads come in, right? So I'm like, okay, once you notice them, so I tell them like what signs to look out for in terms of like early labor. And then there's also it's called the phases of labor. I've forgotten who spoke about it, but I'll send it to you once I remember. So yeah, so there's now the phases of labor where it's not like first stage or like early labor active. So this one is like there's 7 different phases. And what happens is you can go back and forth. So I kind of show you what the phases look like. I tell you what the phases will feel like for you as the woman in labor. And then I say what the phases will look like for the dad who's going to be like holding space for her. So that way they both know what to expect and what to look out for. So that way, like let's say you get to transition. So most times in transition, women are like thinking, I can't do this. This is too hard. And it's kind of like, yeah. So you just get to this point where they start doubting themselves. So I usually tell you, like, once you start thinking that, just know you're almost done, and they find it quite helpful. So it's like, okay, whenever they're like, I can't do this anymore, it's like you just hear Nicole's voice, okay, you're almost done. So you're like, okay, fine. We can do this, like it's hard, but I just need to get through this small little moment of like doubt. And after that, we're sweet. And for dads, it's just making sure you're encouraging your wife. You know, you're not trying to like take away the pain. You're not trying to make it easier. You're just there to witness her and just let her go through her process. So yeah, so for me, it's not saving women. We're just training you and just being there for you, you know, kind of like in a heartbreak, no one can like, no one can save you from heartbreak. But, you know, when you have a good friend who's there to like let you cry, let you do whatever you need to do, you just get through it a lot smoother, I'd say.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the information that's being passed to a lot of first-time mothers or
Mhm.
mothers who have previously birthed in a hospital and they want to do it the natural route with you? How do you think the information and the lack of knowledge that they have affects them? Because a lot of times you will see a lot of women talk about a lot of a lot of women who are already mothers talk about their experience to women who are either of
Mm.
childbearing age and have not had child yet, or who are first time, who it's the first time being pregnant. And now they're hearing about these trauma stories, and now it's being embedded into them, and now they're having fears.
Okay. So that's actually like the first thing we cover in my birth classes.
Oh.
So I take you through the history of birth, why we're birthing the way we do, how we got here, and then understanding the birth in your lineage. So both in the husband and or the partner, or and in the mom. So I make you go, what is your birth story? What was your mom's birth story? What was your grandmother's birth story? And what birth stories did you grow up hearing? Because once you start digging, you notice, okay, my mom has she had a very traumatic birth. So for her, it's kind of like, damn, this baby is like wrecked my body. This birth is not safe. You know, it's so scary. And you find we carry those stories, right? And as you're being born, you also carry that feeling of stress and trauma that your mom had into your body, right? So it's just like working through that. So I guess that's now where my psychology background that comes in.
Mhm.
So for me, that's where I start, like understanding why you believe what you believe about birth, and is it how you want to carry on going for your birth now?
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, and for dads as well. So we don't leave them out because you find, you know, your husband has a lot of influence in the birth choices you make.
What are those influences?
Huh?
What are those influences in those choices? Just like obviously the intimacy of the conversation impacts the pregnancy. I could tell you that. Oh, thanks. Right. People are healthy. Your pregnancy is trash. Goodbye. He's still healthy. Goodbye. Oh my gosh.
I know it used to trigger me because I'm like, why is this man having opinions on what decisions you're making on your body, you know? But I also understand because, you know, most women feel like this is his kid as well. And I don't want to you know, I don't want to make a choice that's gonna, I guess, cause some tension. And for some women, like if their husband's not down, they will not do what they want to do. Yeah. Even mother-in-laws, like you'd be surprised the number of like the amount of people who have input on a woman's birth choices.
I was actually going to ask that question because of what you mentioned about, for example, Luia's having a very, I don't want to say specific, but they have cultural influences on how birth is done. And in Africa, where I would say tribalism is very big, especially in Kenya, how do your birth classes rewrite some of those like societal stereotypes and kind of the zeitgeist around birth, even if you are kind of out in the world, so to speak?
Oh, that one's tricky because it's really hard to like come in and be like, F your husband and your mother-in-law and their opinions. What do you want, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for me, I've gotten to a point where I meet you where you're at. If you're like, I want this, but my husband is not for it, or my mother-in-law is not for it, and I don't feel okay doing this without their approval,
Mm,
then we find a way around it, you know?
right.
But I'd say the majority of women I work with, like, yeah, they're not asking for permission. So I don't know if it's just because, the personality I have attracts those kind of people. Because
Amen.
for me, it was a big issue for me as well. Like with my mom, with my mother-in-law, like everyone was like, "Dude, you're effing crazy. Like, do you
No.
not?"
Yeah, guys, you don't understand. Everybody, I remember when you gave birth to Nones, and my mom was like, Nicole had her kid. I was like, she had her kid. It's like, yeah, she went and did it by herself. Oh my gosh. Mom, I love you when you listen to this. It's just, it was actually the funniest, like, maybe 2 weeks of my life.
And that's a testament to knowing my body.
Like,
You
seriously.
knew yourself and you knew your body.
This is why I started out saying Nicole's mother. She knows what the heck she's doing. And she's been like gung ho about, hey, know what you want. And so when you're saying that, it just reminded me of that like 2 weeks where literally everybody in our family was like, what? I love
Yeah.
what?
And still, after my third baby, they were all like, "Really, you're doing this?" Like every time I get,
Yes.
my aunties will call me. They'd be like, "Nicole, I hope you're going to the hospital this time." My mom would be like, "I hope you're going to the hospital this time." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, unless I have an emergency, this hospital is not seeing me or my vagina." And like when I gave birth to Noni, my first, like it was a whole thing. My mom was freaking out. My mother-in-law came because obviously I didn't tell them when I went into labor.
Mm. Yeah.
So I just told the people after I gave birth, I'm like, "Hey guys, here's your grandbaby."
I love it.
You
I
sum
think I
up
might
my
do that.
All right.
I think I might do that. That sounds
You don't understand. She shook the family group chat for like weeks.
that sounds
Yeah,
great. That's a
I
beautiful
know,
plan.
I know. I
Yeah,
bring
I'm
the
a
drama
sister.
to family.
You hear what you want? Don't go.
Oh my god, that was actually so funny. Like,
Yeah,
my mom was like, she just went. She just went and did it. She just did it. And I was like, okay, but it's the baby cool though? Like,
It's the baby
right,
healthy.
like, am I an auntie or not? That's all I cared about. They
right.
were all, oh my gosh.
And it
Go on,
was like
sorry.
from my pregnancy. So for me, I weighed between like keeping my home birth a secret or telling people. And I decided I'd tell them like I was giving birth at home, but I told them I didn't say I would be doing it alone. So I just said I'd be doing it at home. And that alone had people like freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
When they found out I did it at home and alone, they were like, this bitch is mad. And the day I gave birth, my mother-in-law came and she like made me go to the hospital, like literally, I think it was like 4 hours, like 6 hours after I gave birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the care I got was horrible. Like I think a few weeks after, she came to me and she's like, "Actually, I'm really sorry I did that to you. Like you were right, and I should have minded my business." Because I got to hospital and these guys could not care less about me or the baby. They put me in a room. It was July, so this July is like the cold season for us. So it was like cold as hell. They put me in a room, left the windows open. I'm there, like my vagina's open on those like stirrups, waiting for someone to come and stitch me up. Nobody came for like half an hour. They left me with the baby cold. I asked for a heater. They were like, "Let me go get it from the NICU." I'm like, "Don't take the heater from the baby to come and give me." And then the stitches they did, it was horrible. Like it was just a very horrible experience. And by the end, my mother-in-law was like, "Actually, what the hell did I bring her here for?" Yeah, so and then after that, she found out that one of her sisters is a traditional midwife here and gave birth to her kids at home. So she didn't even know her own sister gave birth at home.
Sorry, this week I think I might know where I might get my degree.
So yeah, so we're so disconnected. Like women are so disconnected from our bodies, our intuition, and yeah, she's now like one of the biggest home birth advocates ever.
No, it's for the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have a few more minutes. Do you have any other pressing questions? Do you want to?
Burning questions. No.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
What she's thinking. I know she has a question. She's gonna be
Yeah,
like, "Oh my gosh, I have one." But what
it's
keeps
okay.
you
I'm not rush.
grounded? What keeps you grounded in such emotional work and dealing with all kinds of just different landmines, so to speak, like
Mm.
trauma, psychological influences, societal influences, familial values and relationships? Like, I can imagine that weighs quite heavily in any scenario, let alone inserting yourself into multiple different people's. So, what are the things that kind of keep you there?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just like you said, we're the cool-headed people of the family. So I think like my personality is just it's very hard for me to get riled up.
Mm,
So I'm very good at like staying calm, staying very level-headed, even when like people are screaming, things are getting quite chaotic. I'm very good at just like, yeah, just going within and letting things go. So even I'd say like I had a very it was quite uncomfortable for me, or like unsettling. Let me say that. Or
mm,
annoying. Yeah, annoying is the word. I had a birth
mm.
that was quite annoying. It was at the hospital. It was like my first one in a while. And like the doctor had like kicked me out of the birth room like just when the lady was pushing, right? So they like closed the curtain. I was like hearing them like coaching her through the curtain, and I was like, dude, you guys are just like, this is crazy. Yeah, so I was listening to what they're doing, and it was just so off. It felt really icky. It felt like I just took money to not provide good care.
Right.
But she had a really good experience, so I just had to like charge it to the game, I guess.
Right.
I was like, she had a good experience. I just found that like, it's not my type of care, obviously,
Mm,
but she was happy with what she got, and she had a vaginal birth at the end of the day, which is what she had wanted. So I just had to bitch about it for like 2 seconds and move on, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'd say, oh, I also like going to the forest. So yeah, find me wherever there's some trees and water, and I'm good.
Yeah.
And yeah, and just being alone. I think being alone really like helps me.
Yeah.
Got a question, yes I do. Don't look at me like that. I'm gonna be shy. My question is, what
Mm-hmm.
is one thing births have taught you about humanity?
Mm, that men are really good. Yeah, and there's some really good
Really?
relationships.
Do tell
And
me.
huh?
I said, pray tell.
Oh, I think I went into just life, just like, men are trash. And you hear that a lot. And I've just seen men really show up for their wives. And I think that has been like the most touching thing ever. And just seeing really healthy couples, and women are strong as hell, you know? And we need to be running this world is basically what I've learned about humanity.
Very.
Yeah, men do great when they submit to their wives, is what I'd
That's what I like
summarize
to hear.
that as.
Hello.
That's what I like to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my husband says men do not belong anywhere near birth. Like, it's just like, yeah, there's no way we can conceptualize what it takes to give birth and have any authority at that in telling women
Mm,
what they should be doing.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think it's been really healing. And yeah, it's made me a lot closer to God. Yeah, it's been 10 out of 10, honestly.
yeah. It's your element. I can feel that. I can see it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say I was thinking about it the other day, and I think, yeah, I enjoy all aspects. I like being up in the middle of the night. I like driving. I like meeting people. It's also very interesting, like going into people's homes and seeing how like different homes are, just seeing different personalities, their dynamics. It's very interesting. I had a client the other day who, like, we were just doing a birth class, and her husband just grabs a tissue and like wipes her nose, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen someone do that.
Aw,
I was like, that's cute, but okay.
all right.
Yeah, so yeah, men are super adorable and supportive
No.
when women take charge, I'd say.
I have a slightly funny question to ask you, but I'm going to ask it. Would you ever
Mhm.
do birth in shags?
Yeah, my plan is actually like I really want to travel around Kenya and just go stay with traditional midwives everywhere and just learn from them. Maybe even make a
Alright.
documentary. I'd really love
I will
that.
watch. I will watch it. My, do you need
Come we
help?
shoot it. CJ, come we shoot it.
I'm on my way. You need any trust? I'll come to you.
Yeah, come
I will.
through. Kenya's amazing. You'd love it.
Told you. I've been telling her. I'm trying to rope every single one of my friends to come for AFCON next year.
Mm.
Cheers. And
Come,
then,
come, you can
so
stay
we
at my
can
mom's house.
literally, literally. I keep telling them they will have to pay for any stay, and I think they all keep looking at me like, really? I'm like, I promise you,
Mhm.
you will pay for nothing. Like, I said I was coming. She was like, yeah, 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 yeah. I was like, no, I'm coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
come AFCON. I'm like, Akela Molo, we're
Mm.
doing 55 activations,
Yeah.
and we'll shoot our fun documentary on the wonder that is birth.
Yeah.
How's that?
Literally. Yeah. I have nightmares about like traditional midwives' knowledge dying with them.
Me too.
Yeah, that's something that keeps me up at night.
Mm. Girl,
Yeah, but come.
that was
Nairobi has a way of like holding you. It's very hard for people to leave when they come.
trust. Trust. It's one of those places that once you come, you'll fall in love with it. I've never met anybody who doesn't love Nairobi. They've been.
Yeah, I have so many friends who are like, yeah, I came for 2 weeks. Now I've been here for 7 years.
Lit. Well, listen, don't Me listen
Trying
to,
to
find my way back. Like, don't listen to all the people listening. Don't listen to Sydney. She does not like you guys. She does not like Taurus at all.
Oh,
Okay, she
yeah.
doesn't like Taurus. Yes, at all. She's like, don't come to my country. Let me explain, guys. No, listen. Here's my issue with tourism. Y'all want to make Kenya a trend. That's
Yeah,
fine
yeah. To be
to an
fair, yeah.
extent. I have a problem with the fact that I know our tourism industry and minister will not convert that into serious monies, serious situations for
Hmm.
Kenyans to actually thrive. When you people come to Kenya and you go Masai Mara and you jump and you see the national park and you kiss the giraffes, that's all fun and games. There are people who live there. That's my issue. I'm fine with you people coming and saying, yes, come Kenya, come Kenya. Yeah, but to a
Mm.
degree.
Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah, I
Agree.
went to Amboseli and they've
Mm.
literally like fixed 50 like tour trucks just like
Mhm.
chasing after like this family of cheetahs, and I'm like, guys, this is wrong. Like
Like,
it's a bit crazy.
it's just bad. And I get
Yeah.
it. We have animals, but I will not forget how growing up people used to be like, do you have a lion in your backyard? In fear and joke. Okay, I do. Now what?
Yeah, I
Now
wish I
what?
did. I wish I did.
Like, honestly, take me, like, actually, find me in tracks and tracks alone. You think it's a game, but find me there. And when there is the chicken running across the road, and serious. And the
Yeah.
cow there and the lion trying to eat my cow, don't be shocked.
Yeah, to be fair, if you lived in like Ngong, it'd be a valid question because there's like lions that
Yeah.
jump into people's backyards.
Well, going is not where these people are going. And
I
that's the
know.
difference. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, let's go to the reserve. They're going Karen because Karen is, especially here, they're going Karen because it's the British home. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no. Go away, please. Actually, leave. Don't even come. Don't even come.
Yeah, I have issues with like the amount of white people here, to be fair.
See? I told you. These ones, they think it's me. No, I've said it. I literally, I'm like, why are you guys there? I don't understand why you're here.
Yeah,
Leave.
it's
Guys,
a
this
lot.
is my best PR trained episode yet.
Wrong. All I'm saying is you literally said the way forward is segregation. I promise you that.
I am.
I'm soundbiting that and I'm doing
I
that.
am. Listen, I am, but not in the same way that it used to be. I think Black people and other people who are not Black and definitely are not white should gatekeep against white people.
I agree.
That's my form of segregation.
Yeah, I agree.
It's insane.
But you can come.
Thanks. Yeah, we've said you're fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll take good care of you.
Thanks. Okay, we can wrap up the podcast and then we can chat for a second after. But guys, it's been the best. Thanks for pulling up a chair. I've been sitting.
I've been Tilia.
And we've had the gorgeous Nicole on. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you guys for having me.